Hello, it's your boy. I'm not saying that. Hello, it's Jay De La here. I'm just doing a little video to finish off this abysmal year. And I thought it'd be a good idea to do my first ever type of top 10 sort of thing. But this video is just kind of like it's my top 10 games I've played for the first time or played a lot this year, essentially. So and most of them are first time, I think. There's just one or two that I'm not sure if I might have played them in end 2019 or now, because 2020 was such a train wreck of a year that I just honestly can't remember what I've done during it. If you wonder why I'm playing Batman Arkham Knight in the background, it's kind of a double thing. I'm kind of teasing that this will probably be my next playthrough, because I still need to finish my Arkham playthrough. I still need to do the side quest for Arkham City. But I'm also doing it because I just like to... I think it's a good chill game. You know, I want some gameplay in the background while I'm talking. I will put clips in of the games I'm talking about. But yeah, this isn't really like... Also, the top 10, it's not like 10's number 1. It's more just like... 9 of them are like... They're up there in my top. And then 1 is definitely my game of the year. And it might be quite controversial at the moment as well. I don't see why it should be. But it is a good game, I can't lie. But anyway, on to my first one I want to mention. This is a game that, when it came out, I think it came out at the end of 2019, but I didn't play it until about around February, I think. I did check on my PS4, and I think it was around February that I played it. But it was Terminator Resistance. And now, as an avid Terminator fan, my friends who I live with, I hope he doesn't mind me saying his name, but Ben, he knows how much I love Terminator, and so do all my friends, pretty much. And when it was announced, I was excited for it, but I was worried because it was done by a game company. This really weird, I believe it's quite a terrible Rambo game. It's more like a click and move sort of thing. But no, it thoroughly surprised me, Terminator Resistance. And at the start of the year, when I played it, I thought this could be my game of the year. Because it generally makes you feel that there's a scene when you're in a hospital, or at least the game part when you're in a hospital. I don't really gameplay of it, because I would record myself doing it, but I have to go through the game just to get to it. But it's the moment where when I was playing it, I realised this makes me feel like I'm against Terminator, because you're in as you may know, guns, traditional bullets like M14 stuff don't really work against Terminator. They're made of metal. And there's this bit where I got a bit too cocky, and they were in this hospital, and I had my M16, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm going to get the Terminator. I walked up to this T800 and walked down the hallway, and I just unloaded the clip on him, and he just turned around and fucking killed me. And it was generally really scary. It's a freaky game, but it's also, I think it really captures the essence of the Terminator sort of genre, I guess, or at least the Terminator franchise, especially post the apocalypse. If you haven't watched Terminator films, it's kind of a spoiler, but you know. And I thought the story was quite solid as well. I like the way it connects to the Terminator universe. Again, I won't spoil anything, but it was a good game. I enjoyed it. When I finished it, I wanted more. I also did all the trophies in it. That was, I think, one of the first games of the year that I platinumed. So that was quite good. You know, I was definitely quite happy with that game. So that's why that's in my top 10. If you're wondering, I highly recommend playing it as well. And my next game, I can see it on the list. I'm going to skip it. I'm going to talk about that in a second, actually. But my next game I wanted to mention was a recent release, which is Watch Dogs Legion. And the only reason I include this, again, it's standard Ubisoft open world sort of thing. But considering what it did with like multi-playable AI, and the fact that everyone is playable, I thought it was really fun. And it surprised me because I was worried it would be a bad story. And the story is there. There is a cool story. But it's a good mixture of, for example, Watch Dogs 1 was good because it had a good story. But it was kind of, it lacked in some areas, especially gameplay sometimes. But I still enjoyed it. And Watch Dogs 2, which is it was very funny, it was very self-aware, but I don't think the story was very good in Watch Dogs 2. But this one kind of balanced it well. And I enjoyed playing it. I can't admit, there was a few funny moments as well. Again, I can't clip them, but you know, just of certain NPCs that I played as. It was fun. I enjoyed Watch Dogs Legion. I do recommend it to anyone, especially, it's on sale all the time at the moment. I think it's only on sale because either Ubisoft want to push it, or it wasn't as popular because it came out around the time as a certain other game, which I think I will mention in my honorable mentions. But no, again, Watch Dogs Legion, a good game. I recommend it to anyone who wants to get into any Watch Dogs games, or even if you just want to have a fun game to mess around in. Because I still used to do a side quest in that game, because as I said, I started a game that came out like a week afterwards, after that. Anyway, good game. I'm going to mention it now to get it over and done with. This is a bit controversial, especially if you watched my channel or watched one of my recent playthroughs. But I've put Last of Us Part 2 in here because I still talk about it to this day. And it is a good game. It's just the weakness of it. If I had to put one thing, would be the structure of the story. I talked about this before. If you want to know what I thought of it, go to my last part and just fast forward to the credits. So I pretty much give a full reason as to why the structure of the story didn't make sense to me, or at least if it did, they could have made the impact of the story a lot better. But I think the main reason I put on this list, because I'm still talking about it today, like with my friend Harrison, HT, you've obviously heard of him in a few of my videos, Call of Duty one specifically, and I will have another one coming up soon. We still talk about it, and he makes jokes about it, and I mean, it still stuck with me. I enjoyed playing it. It's just the addy parts. But I still put it there because it was a fun game. It's a beautiful game. The music, as ever, is beautiful. The graphics, if that matters, are beautiful. And I think they improved on the controls a lot. First Last of Us 2 as well. No, First Last of Us as well. Because First Last of Us was a bit. I felt the controls weren't as fluid, and Last of Us 2 you definitely pick it up a bit faster. So that's my main reason for including that in the list at least. Now, another one I've done a playthrough of, which I really enjoyed, and it really brought back my love for the Mafia series, was Mafia Definitive Edition, which was technically a remake, the original Mafia. But as I said in my video, I'd never played the original Mafia. I knew the story, or at least the ending story. But no, it really surprised me. And they added a lot of post-launch stuff. I don't think they had to either. There was a lot of extra stuff they added, and it was fun. But I really think if you want a game that really captures the essence of Mafia, that isn't 2 or 3, Mafia Definitive Edition is definitely, because I think I labelled Mafia Definitive Edition my favourite Mafia game now. It doesn't, not in terms of the other two aren't bad, they're brilliant, but it really surprised me how good the Mafia Definitive Edition was. And I guess that just shows how good the original game was as well. Because again, the story is the main thing that popped for me in that. Anyway, I believe it's my fourth choice. Again, there isn't a specific list, but I've also put a game that a lot of people will have probably heard of, Days Gone, in there, which is a PS4 exclusive. When I first got my PS4, I always wanted to play this game, so I think I bought my PS4 after this game came out, and I was definitely, I was looking forward to it. But I said to myself, I'm not going to pick it up unless it's in a sale. Sorry about my nose, by the way. I'm not going to pick it up unless it's in a sale. And eventually, I think it was about £16, I think I got it for, with a digital deluxe edition. Or it was either £10, I really can't remember. But when I played it, it really did surprise as well, because I heard a lot of bad stuff about Days Gone. Apparently, it was one of those games where, on launch, there wasn't as much content, or at least it wasn't as good, apparently. But as I said, all I can speak for is when I played it, and the game is beautiful, the story is beautiful as well. A lot of people moan that it goes in too long, but people moan that games are too short, and they moan they're too long. Just, in my opinion, if you're paying 60 quid for a game, this is good release, you want it to last as long as possible, in my opinion. But I thought it was a brilliant game. The characters are really well thought out in it as well. I love that. There's this really beautiful. I told my friend, I mentioned him again, my friend Ben, who I lived with last year, I mentioned to him, this is a game that I think he'd like. Oh, for goodness sake, there's a helicopter. I hope that isn't too loud. I'll move. I mentioned this is a game, sort of game he'd like, in terms of the atmosphere, and I think anyone that loves a good game that incorporates, story with action, as well as, I don't know, beautiful music, I think this is a great game as well. There's a really nice bit where, it's one of my favourite songs now, actually. Ironically, it's called Soldier's Eyes, and I can't remember who wrote it. It's put in this game a beautiful moment where you're kind of you're leaving one of your bases, I think it is, to go and join or go and look after one of the characters. I can't remember his name. I played it again. I didn't play as long ago, so I can't remember the name. There's a character, Sam Witwer's character is looking after this other dude, and something happens to him. I won't spoil it. But you're basically looking after him. You're trying to find another place where you can bring him to state him and make sure he's okay. And it's beautiful. It's just this beautiful track that plays where you're on your bike, and I just can't. It is good. You need to, if you can't play it, just watch the scene. Type in Soldier's Eyes, what Days Gone scene, and it's beautiful. But anyway, again, I highly recommend that game. It's also got, I believe, there's still a lot to do after you complete the campaign or the main story, I will admit, because I completed it, and I think most of my side quests still weren't complete, and I had a lot of zombie hideouts to do, and also, what is good about playing the game, as soon as you do the story, you're pretty much powerful enough to take on a good zombie horde, and it's very fun. It can be annoying, but it is very fun. But anyway, that's all I've got to say about Days Gone. I highly recommend it if you're into story as well as action and beautiful music in a game. I think for me, Days Gone was better for me, in my opinion, than Last was Part 2, but people won't speak about that, will they? You know. But anyway, my other game I want to put on is a game I have done a playthrough on here of, and it's just because of how much it surprised, not it, well, that's rude to say it surprised me, because I knew it'd be good anyway. But I think I paid for it, it was like £2, because it's like an individual thing, and again, there's a playthrough on my channel of it. The game's called Fractured Minds, and sorry, my phone just went off, and bloody hell, I love this game, honestly. I think when I played it, as someone who can relate to the subject matter of the game, I think it very, very, very well represents what it's meant to show, or what it's meant to be, I guess, bring to light. It was made by, I think, an independent developer, a girl named Emily, I believe her name was Emily Mitchell, I think, but again, she's very sweet, and if you'd watch interviews, I think on the start of my video I did put her main interview on the game, my playthrough. But it's a beautiful game. It is a good game. It's a short game, but what do you expect for, like, £1 or £2? And I believe it is on Game Pass at the moment. So if you do want to play it, I highly recommend. If you've got Game Pass, load it up. Brilliant. If there was a game I had as my number 2, I would put as my number 2. It would definitely be that one, just because I don't think I got upset during it, but it definitely hit me. And I think it is a beautiful game. Anyway, I'll stop talking about that one. Moving to another one. This is a game. Right, I'm going to mention this first because I want it to have a good enough space between that and the other one. I played this, I'll admit, I played this throughout 2019 as well. But I got back into it as well as the expansions in 2020. And my friend who I live with, and is living with me last year as well, called Jamie, he is like an expert, maybe not an expert, but he knows a lot about The Witcher. And I remember once I was playing with the expansions and he kind of told me, like, nudge nudge, don't trust so and so, don't trust this, but he didn't spoil it. And I think I mainly finished the story, again I got back into it, and the expansions at maybe mid 2020, I think, maybe the start 2020, I can't remember, but it's The Witcher 3, and again there's a reason why it was a game of the year, and it shows. So if you haven't played it, play it. Enough people have spoken about why it's good, so I won't waste your time. But it is a beautiful game, and it's very meme worthy. I've found as well, very meme worthy. I know the person I live with, as I said, Jamie, he always goes, winds howling. I know, I kind of find that quite funny. Anyway, move on to another one. That's a good thing, right? I played this year as well, I believe. And it's a game called What Remains of Edith Finch, and it's like one of those games where it is very story driven. There's a specific part to walk down, but it's not meant to be actiony, which I like games that are very story driven anyway. But when I played it, I thought it was beautiful. It really did knock my socks off. I think I played it when I got it. I think I got it for free on the PlayStation Store. I can't remember, either I got it free or I bought it when it was like really cheap. Because I don't tend to look up games before I buy them anyway, really. So it was a nice little surprise for me. And I think I platinumed that as well. So I'm not trying to flex, by the way, I'm just saying I platinumed it, so I played it pretty much to its heart's content, or at least the most I can, but I'd highly recommend it to anyone. So it's definitely one of those games I think anyone could get into and be pulled away from. Is that word, pulled away out, a phrase, or no? It's a game that will make you think. If that's any difference. It kind of shows you, I think it's one of those games where it really shows you how beautiful video games can be. I know so many people, and there's a very specific bracket for this, boomers, sorry. There's a very specific bracket that believe that games can't be beautiful. This game I'm talking about right now, Edith Finch, and one I'm going to mention in a second, are just like that. So honestly, I recommend that game to anyone, obviously, that's why it's in my top 10. So yeah, beautiful game, must play. Another game that's very similar in its structure, and the genre it's a part of, I think I played it the start of this year, or at least I finished. I remember I played it for a few minutes, and obviously, I tend to get distracted easily, but around 2020, I think I finally not pushed through, because it sounds bad, but I mainly completed the game. It's not a difficult game either. It's a lot like Remains of Edith Finch, where it's about maybe 3 hours long, but it is in depth. And it's a game called Gone Home. I think I played this because I think I got it free a while ago, but I downloaded it when it's free to play it later. And very similar to what Remains of Edith Finch. There's a story there, you go into different rooms, you discover things, and I think it's beautiful. I can't relate to being, part of a. It's a very serious topic. I was going to say that aeroplane, helicopter. Sorry, helicopter's back. Sorry. It's a very serious topic to talk about. That's why I feel weird talking about it. I don't know if I have the right to. But I think the story kind of, without spoiling it, kind of surrounds a girl who I believe has a very rather closeted family when it comes to the ideas surrounding modern, I guess you know, sounds weird 'cause my channel's this, but modern sexuality, and I think she's trying to hide the fact from her parents that she is obviously gay, and that's not why the story's good. The story's good on its own, but just as a, if I was to tease what it's about, that's how I'd tease it. But it's a very beautiful game. I believe I might be getting it wrong, but I think you do tend to learn more about the family's past and stuff. And it's one of those games where I do recommend you pick up as many of the collectibles you can while you're going through it, because if you read them, it'll definitely show you more of, I guess, more of the cool hidden stories that are in the game. I think there's one, I think I read it, I can't remember, it was a while ago, so I might have forgotten what it's about. But I think one of the stories in the game is like, there's a murder or something. It's in the newspaper years ago. And if you do all your little searches, you find out why it happened, as well as who did it and how it's related to your character's family, which I think was, I also think that's quite cool. So that I think I discovered that kind of on my own. I had to go to, I'm not gonna lie, I had to go to YouTube to try and understand, like, what does this mean? What are all these collectibles trying to say? But it is a good game, and I highly recommend it, especially if I think it's on Game Pass as well. So again, another good free game to play if you can. So yeah, I recommend it. And I think I'm finally on it. My personal number one. Again, this isn't a numbered list, but if I was to do a number one, it's going to be controversial. Actually, no. Before I say that, I'm going to say some honorable mentions, actually. Because most of the honorable mentions, most of them I played through this year as well, but I've also put them in there because I played them a lot this year. So sorry to tease you there, but I will say what my number one is in a second. I think it deserves its own space. Just not get ignored, Anyway, I think a game everyone can agree with as being good during lockdown, as well as a game that's good in general and surprised me, was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. And if my friends who know me know that I don't really tend to hold Call of Duty games very high, because they're not as bad as FIFA games. They're terrible. They're the same game each year. Sorry, controversial opinion. But Modern Warfare 2019, it wasn't just a rehash and then a put in a different context, whatever. I love the story. I love the campaign. The campaign for me, Call of Duty games, is usually what I go to, because I grew up around, or at least I shouldn't say this because I wasn't old enough to play them, but I grew up around World at War, Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2 and 3, those stories, Black Ops, and that was back when the campaign was one of the main things. Like, it's equal to multiplayer, and I think slowly after those games, not specifically Activision, but the Call of Duty franchise tended to focus too much on the multiplayer, and they kind of missed out what the story was. So but this one, it brought it back very well. The multiplayer is brilliant, the story and the campaign is brilliant. There's brilliant teasers. I love the ending of campaign. I won't spoil it as well, but it's one of those things where, as a fan of the Modern Warfare original trilogy, you'd love it. So yeah, I don't mind what they're doing with it as well. I think they're trying to connect the Black Ops universe now to this universe, which I'm happy with. It's kind of like a reboot slash prequel, this game. Also, Warzone, as you'll know, because I played it with Harrison, surprisingly, it's the only Fortnite kind of mode, or battle round mode, that I actually really love. And I could play that. If someone said, "Oh, play it, dare you play it?" I'd be like, "Sure." I haven't got a problem with playing Warzone, because it's not too bad, and it's one of those rare battle royale games where if you die, you're not just completely out. You've got the gulag and you've got another chance. And I remember once, I played by myself. It's only a single win I've got. I'm not going to lie. I've only ever got wins of Harrison. And the only single win I've got by myself, I kind of just mostly hid and played tactically and stuff. And I got killed, and it really pissed me off. And it was just about when the gulag was about to close. I went to the gulag, got put back out, and no joke, I landed, found like a purple gun. I think it was an SMG. And I basically stayed sorry for swearing by the way, and I stayed very close to the circle and kind of moved in until it was the two teams. I just stayed really low, and I think the last guy was around. He's like, "Where's the other guy? I can't find him." And I popped up right out of the grass and just shot him, and I got a fucking Warzone win. And I thought, that's so cool. A game mode where you get a second chance. Like, it kind of sounds kind of cringy, but you know what I mean. It doesn't. You don't necessarily feel disappointed when you lose or when you die. You don't think it's the end. You can respawn. And again, I had a lot of fun. It's called Modern Warfare 2019. if you can get it in the sale still, and I think I reckon it's probably a good price. You can get it for maybe 20 quid. I reckon probably in a sale, but I'd still get it. It's definitely a good game, and I think because it's kind of connected to the Black Ops servers, I think it shouldn't be too bad either. There should still be a lot of players playing it basically. Another one I wanted to mention, actually I'll mention this one because I think it's a really good example of a remaster done right, and that was Saints Row 3 Remastered. And I love the Saints Row franchise. The only one I haven't played is Saints Row 1, which makes me feel like an idiot. But I played 2, 3, 4, as well as the DLCs. And it was good to have a remaster where if you played Saints Row 3 Remastered, you'll know that it is genuinely very well remastered. I bought it on release for £35. And I did it. I in no way regretted it. I loved it. I love replaying Saints Row 3. I love what they did with the character models and things. They remastered it well. Even some of the physics and stuff. I was concerned. I thought it would be a bit like what game is it? Mafia 2 Definitive Edition. I'll admit, Mafia 2 Definitive Edition is literally just a rehash and a port. They call a remaster, and it really isn't. Saints Row 3 Remastered is a remaster, and it's beautiful. I'd highly recommend it to anyone that just likes games like GTA. It isn't a GTA clone. I don't care what people say. It's not a GTA clone. There's so many GTA clones out there, and this is just one of many that popularised it just as much. But it's a game where it's fun to play. There is a story there as well, but it's self-aware, right? You know, it's kind of like, I think Saints Row 3 is when Saints Row started to really become crazy and fun, and I enjoy that. So again, Saints Row 3 Remastered, especially now, I think. I just checked, because I was looking through the game Xbox store to see if there's any good games on offer, and I think Saints Row 3 Remastered in a sale, £15, I think. So I'd pick that up if you can. I recommend. Another game I wanted to mention, Jedi Fallen Order. I'll do this briefly. I love that game. It definitely surprised me. It's definitely proof that EA know now that single player games are relevant for Star Wars. So I'm looking forward to them all. I like the story. I like the gameplay. I liked all that. It wasn't too long. Wasn't too short. And also the end bit, I won't spoil it, but there's a character obviously from around the original trilogy time that comes back. I'm thinking about it now. I was like, just the scene where he steps up and it's good. It's good. You should play it. That's all I'm saying. If you're a Star Wars fan, play that game if you haven't already, or even just watch a cutscene like my friend H does all the time. But no, I do recommend that highly. So yeah, another game. Again, there's a lot of honorable mentions. There aren't too many. There's 2 more to do. Well, that's fine. There are 3 more. Not another honorable mention I wanted to mention was, I think I played it on 360, but I never finished it on 360. And a little while ago, I think it was free. It was LA Noire. And this is a game by Rockstar, and I never realised how genuinely good of a story and the sort of detective genre they would have made it, you know, because they brought this out before Red Dead. And I know Rockstar are good with writing anyway, but when you think of Rockstar, you think of GTA. But this is generally a perfect mix of great story, but it's also fun, innovative, and I think for the time as well. I did mention when I was playing this though, they're very obvious when they want you to know someone's lying, so they'll do the weirdest faces. The character you're interviewing, I might put a clip in here maybe.
What exactly did you see them take?
They was working on the tires. That's all that was took.
Or a picture. It's a good game, and it's very funny as well. Phelps is hands down the most awesome Chad in a video game I've ever come past. He's such a Chad, honestly. You need to play it. You need to play it. It's a good game. And I've also included a game I played with my flatmate Sam, or not flatmate, housemate Sam. Down below, because he bought it first, and I was like, "Is it a good game? Is it worth picking up?" And it was Star Wars Squadrons, and it was kind of like, it's EA as well, but I think the team kind of used some Battlefront 2 assets as well as their own initiative to do the game, and I thought, is it worth it? Should I get it? And I eventually bought it when it was on Amazon, I think £26, and he was like, yeah, sure, you play it, I'll play it with you. And it is very fun. The story is actually surprisingly good in Squadrons, and it makes you feel surprisingly like a pilot from the Star Wars era. It's just brilliant. I won't mention too much, so I'm about to go to 30 minutes. But I recommend that game as well. Very good, especially if you've got friends to play it with, like I had. And even on your own, I think you can do like co-op battles. There's also training you can do. And I think even when you get put in squads, I think it's pretty simple to play. So I recommend that. Another game I want to put on this list. Again, I played this. I think this was the first year I played this game specifically, but I played the hell out of the first Hitman game. To the point where I did everything I could in the game, pretty much most of the challenges and all that stuff, and I eventually in early 2020, I eventually decided, you know what, I'm going to buy Hitman 2. Because it means I can get the remastered match from Hitman 1, and I can get the Hitman 2 content. And I think I bought the Game of the Year sort of bundle sort of thing. It wasn't a Game of the Year, but, you know, all games do it now. They sort of have the Game of the Year edition, where it gives you all the contents. And I think I got it for about £25, £20. And it really surprised me. The reason I put this in is because I'll include the clip. But it is a fun game. It's hilarious. Even there are scheduled sort of like kills you have to do. Let's say you want to follow a specific story that are funny. But if you're experimenting around the world, it's basically like a sandbox. I think they describe it as well as a sandbox of assassination. It is a fun game, and I'm really looking forward to it. The first Hitman game I will buy on day one is Hitman 3, and as soon as I get my money around January, I'm going to pre-order that as soon as I can. And I want to get a physical edition of that because I just want it so bad. But I highly recommend Hitman 2 to anyone. I'll include the clip now to where I had a lot of fun. Ooh. Do not eliminate the constant. Way!
47. That was our only lead on the partners.
Oh, that was the lead of the partners. Ooh. So yeah, it's a good game. It's funny. It's hilarious, and it gets the best out of people, I think. And I think I've also heard the people that make it, IO Interactive, teased a James Bond game they're doing, and when they teased that, I said they're definitely the right people to go to for a James Bond game. So I'm looking forward to that as well when it comes out. Anyway, that's all my honorable mentions done. I don't think there's anything else I want. Oh no, I did! Oh my god! Right. I should have put this in my top 10, but I'll do it as an honorable mention just because I don't want to put it as top 10 because I'm a bit biased towards this series. But it's Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and this was the reason why I didn't fully complete Legion, because it came out on the 10th, which is my birthday, 10th of November. Remember that in the future, my birthday. And I finally enjoyed it. I was playing it today, and I got the Excalibur. Oh man, I recorded that as well. A lot of funny things happened. But, oh my gosh, leave me alone. There we go. Oh, it's a fucking bear! Piss off! That was not Pog. I'm not gonna lie, that was not Pog. This must be it, right? Right. Let me check. Are we underneath Stonehenge? Yeah, this is definitely it. We're pretty close to being underneath Stonehenge now, so... I know, shit. Oh my god. Sorry. Right. No! Are you joking me? I've got to go through all that. Oh, and there's another bear coming up as well. I've got to go through all that shit again. And I'm drunk. Why is my character drunk? Come on, Abel. Pick it up. Pick it up. Yes, mate! Look at that! I've got a Excalibur. It's an unexpected game. That's how I describe it. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. The story is there. It's good. It's a good game. Again, I'll put this clip in of me talk about my criticism with the game, as well as being an old-time Assassin's Creed fan. Again, I've known the games for years. This is a step in the right direction, but there's parts I need to fix. But it's a fun game. I do recommend it, regardless of sale or no sale. Just buy it if you want to, if you're interested in getting into an Assassin's Creed game. Even if you haven't played an Assassin's Creed game before, I would recommend this. It is good. Again, it was also very fun, and there's a lot of random moments you can get from it. But anyway, now that I've included that, I'll move on to my Game of the Year. Drumroll please. People might be disappointed by this, but I've picked, and I have my reasons, and I stand by them, Cyberpunk 2077. Now, I'm aware, on release, and I feel bad for my friend, again, Ben and Sam, who both play on PS4. I'm aware that it had problems on release, a lot like AC Unity. A lot of glitches, lots of bugs. And I'll admit, even on my Xbox One X, it did have problems. But within, I think it was the day 1 or the day 2 patch, I can't remember what happened, they did patch. And as soon as they did that patch, it worked fine for me. Again, I can't speak for PlayStation or those games. But if it does fix itself, if you'd have a chance to play it when it is fully, not bugged and fully unglitched, I suppose is a good word, play it fixed, I guess, I do highly recommend it because there are so many beautiful moments, and it's a good example of where CD Projekt Red really excel. There are beautiful quests, especially my favourite quest line, it surprised me, was the Kelly quest line. and there's this beautiful moment where he's playing his guitar on a boat, and the way he describes, for my character at least, the way he describes is the song he's playing. I think he calls it Life's Loops, and it perfectly represents your character's journey at that point and the way he describes it. And I might include a clip or two that I've done or even someone else has done online.
Okay, so let me hear what this is all about.
Like I said, life's loops.
Breakfast cereal?
No. Loops. Cycles. One chapter ends, another begins. Life's full of them. At least my guru tells me so.
I'll bite. Tell me about these loops.
But it's a beautiful game. There's even, I think, another your relationship with Johnny, who is Keanu Reeves' character in it as well, is also beautiful. I think it's good because I managed to have a playthrough where I kind of became friends with him. I won't say what ending. I'll say what ending I did because it's not really a spoiler. But I did the Pan Am Nomad ending, and I was really happy with that choice. It's a beautiful ending for me at least. If you want to know what I'm talking about, if you really want spoilers, type in the Nomad Pan Am ending. The cyberpunk it is beautiful, but especially what your character goes through with having to contemplate whether it's worth. I won't say what it is because I'm not spoil it too much. Whether it's worth losing himself for something else, if that makes sense. If that's not being too vague, or just I tend to make my character in that game quite selfless in terms of what he did. Although the worst and funny moments where I did just shoot some people for the hell of it because that's what it was. It is a fun game, but I just think it's beautiful. I can't lie. And if you have a chance to play it after the patches, I do recommend it. Because what's pissed me off, as someone who really loved the game, all these people moaning that, oh my god, it's buggy, it's not out yet. But everyone was moaning for them to release it as soon as possible. Like, what do you expect? Grow up. Honestly. Like, I'm sorry if I'm saying it too honestly. I'm sorry if I'm pissing people off. But you can't judge a game like that. Everyone's rushing so much. They even pointed out, I think a month before release, because it was originally meant to come out on the 17th or 19th of November, they even said the reason we're delaying it is because it doesn't run as well as we feel it will on this day. And that should be enough evidence for people to go, right, I'll wait for it to come out then. I'll wait. I'll cancel my pre-order and I'll wait. You know, because that was the point. When I read that, I said, right, it may not play perfectly, and I was prepared for that. But all these people that want their games to be perfect on release, what do you expect? Especially considering the year we've had in 2020. Like, people haven't been at their desks because they can't really work much. You know, they've been demoralised. I suppose it's made fixing things a lot more difficult. And I think people are just being incredibly self-loathing. Not self-loving. Self-loving, sorry, selfish, sorry. They've been incredibly selfish in terms of this sort of thing. Because all I did was, I said, and I think my friend Sam will agree, I kind of said, right, on the day when I was like, the game's not running as well, I'm going to leave it here, I'll pick it up in the next few days when the patch comes out. And as soon as I did that, I played well on my Xbox skin. I can't speak for PS4, maybe it's still terrible on PS4. But yeah, like I say, I think it's a good game, and there are so many beautiful moments, from NPCs playing cool guitars to the quests you do. There's a really cool side quest for a character called Skippy as well, which isn't necessarily a character, but if you search them up, you know what I mean. But it's fun. The dialogue's beautiful. It's one of those games where having an RPG sort of essence to dialogue doesn't make it feel weird. If you know what I mean? So I found myself in Witcher sometimes skipping a few dialogues. In Cyberpunk 2077, I didn't skip dialogue at all. At least not unless... Because there's this thing where if you're crouching, when you go into a dialogue bit, if you want to crouch back up, it skips the dialogue because it's the same button. So again, I never intentionally skipped dialogue, but I just loved it. A lot of the choices you make were perfect. I think it's also the perfect example of how to pace a story. Because if you want to complete it in 20 minutes, if you want to complete it in 20 hours, you can do that. You just have to skip all the side quests. But it really diminishes the impact that your ending will have. And so I think I played it in total for about, I'd say 40 hours before I did the final mission. I played all the side quests, Kelly's ones, Panam's ones, Judy's ones, and Judy's a really cool character as well. I really like Judy. She's really fun. At least her side quests are fun. And also the last quest you go on is beautiful. She does this thing where, obviously in Cyberpunk, very, sorry, my phone keeps going off. It's very technologically advanced. She does this thing where she's going for old neighbourhood. I won't spoil it too much, but she connects your memories, if that makes sense, all your minds, your thoughts, so that I think it's stuff you notice, she'll notice and stuff like that, so you can stay together, be safe. But it does something unexpectedly where it kind of transmits her memories to you. And for someone like Judy, who, when you meet her as a character, she's very, not mysterious, but you don't know much about her. All you know is her at face value when you meet her. She's this, technologically superior woman who, knows her tech well, works for, I heard a weird noise, works for, an industry that's kind of strange. And it leaves you wondering, who is this girl? Who is she? And by doing her side quests, again, it's probably something obvious. Obviously, by doing side quests, you learn more about people, but it is really heartfelt side quest. I think all of them are. Even again, Kelly's one, not just the one I was talking about, but even one of his quests during his side quest line is beautiful as well. And again, V in general, the main character V as well. It did make me laugh. Apparently, V's real name is Vincent, apparently, and the female V is called, can't remember. It's something very strange, but just call them V because it's cringy if you say their real name. But V's story in general is beautiful, and I think it's a surprising twist. I think it's a good way to end 2020, even though it had a few glitches, and it is a shame that glitches on day one can really affect a game because of how loved it is and the critic score, etc. But again, I've only mentioned a few side quests or the story structures, but there's so much that if I went over it, again, as a CD Projekt Red RPG, I'm nowhere near completing it either. All I've done is the story and most of the main side quests. I've got a few little side quests, got a few gigs to do, a few rides. It's a brilliant game. And anyone that's playing, I think, if you were one of the people that stopped because of the glitches, now is probably a good time to go back to it, at least try it, at least push yourself through it. That sounds bad. Not push yourself through it, but experience it, because sorry to swear, but it's a fucking beautiful game. And I didn't think it'd be for a while. I kept saying no, Mafia is my game of the year this year, the Definitive Edition. Then when I played that, I got about half through the story, I went, no, I'm actually loving this. This is great. Like, it just balanced everything so well. And I think, yes, it had 7 years. Yes, it was glitchy on release. But what can you expect when it's in between console times, But again, I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want this video to go too long. But it's a beautiful game that was criticised because of its glitches on day one, and especially for a company that, again, CD Projekt Red, from what I've heard on YouTube and things, they're a really thoughtful and lovely company. But for a company that also made you aware of the issues, most companies wouldn't tell you. Ubisoft don't fucking do it. They don't say, oh, by the way, we're delaying this because there's a few issues, so and so and so. They'll just say, no, we're delaying it for a better release, But CD Projekt Red, they came out and said, look, we're delaying it for a month because of these issues. It doesn't run as well. They made you aware, and you can't criticise a company for telling you what's going on and letting you know about the game and what's going on with it. I respected them for that. I said, right, at this point, it would be a good time to cancel it if I'm worried about it. Or I had faith, so I said, no, I'll keep my pre-order there. And I did, and I don't regret it. I love playing that game. I'm trying to think of another good aspect of the game I could mention before I get to 40 minutes. But I don't know. It's just a great game, and I'd highly recommend it. That's what I'm saying. I do agree that it can get a bit slow at the start, but what do you expect? It's an RPG. You need to get into the story. You need to get into the side quests before it starts getting really interesting. So it's a longitudinal game. That's how I describe it, if that's a way I can describe it. It's a game that you get more out of it the longer you play it for. Not that it's bad after you play it for 1 hour. It's still a brilliant game. But also all the Johnny interactions are so cool. Keanu Reeves, he kills it. I'm not gonna. Keanu Reeves can be cringy sometimes, but he's such a sweet guy. And hearing him in a game, there's basically a scene where we were Pan Am, right, in a car, all right, and your V's there, and obviously you look behind. Obviously, Johnny, I won't spoil it, but Johnny, only V can really see Johnny. And there's this bit where he's describing how Pan Am reminds her of him. Hang on, what? Reminds him of himself. There you go. And he does this line where he goes, she reminds me of me, and I think he says, without the eccentric lifestyle and impressive cock. And it's just hilarious hearing Keanu Reeves talk like that. He probably has some of his other films. I loved him in John Wick and all that sort of shit. I loved him in Bill and Ted. What else? He was in this Netflix film where he had a cameo as well. It was really fun. Oh, and Matrix. Oh, Keanu Reeves, man, he's a gift from God. He's so sweet. Anyway, I think that's all my list. I'm going to check quickly. I think that's all my list. I haven't really got any other honourable mentions that I wanted to mention at all. That's everything. So, I hope people like that. Again, this is just games I've played this year that have stuck with me. It doesn't mean they have to have come out this year. It just means they have to have been played by me for the first time, or either an excessive amount this year. That's fun. We kind of ended where we started. I really just noticed that. Saw the church. I was like, oh, nice. Anyway, I hope everyone's had a good, however good they can have at the end of 2020. 2021 should be a good year. I hope it will. Definitely hope it will. I think I'm just thankful for not only the friends I've had that have kept me company, but also the games and the entertainment that have managed to keep everyone occupied during quarantine. Like, you can't, I mean, some companies could have just shut down and be like, nope, we're not releasing anything to 2021, like fucking like Marvel have, and like all the fucking movie. I mean, movies make sense, to be fair, 'cause you can't release them. You can't re-release them without people going to cinema, but companies could have shut down. And the fact that game companies have kept with us and kind of like kept their releases going and kept that on track, you have to respect that. And I'm just thankful that we had so many good content to keep us occupied this year. Especially me, who constantly wants to be distracted all the time. But anyway, also, before I go, my next video after this should hopefully be, and I feel sorry for him because he always, as a joke, he always goes, so, Jake, when's the video coming out? Because I recorded it ages ago. But it's just, I'm trying to use this new editing software for this video. I want to see what it's like. It's just taken ages, and so I apologise. But the next video should be another me and Harrison video, and it's very fun. It's kind of like an Easter eggy sort of video, so it should be. We have a lot of fun doing it. But anyway, I'll finish on the top of here, with Batman saying goodbye. I hope this has been entertaining. I hope it's been a nice little extra video from me. I haven't uploaded in a while. I apologise for that. I've been doing a lot of essay writing, and I'm not even gonna lie. I've just been sitting on my arse, being lazy. I can't lie. But I have a lot of essay stuff to do as well. A lot of assessment stuff, but I'm back. Hopefully I'm back. Maybe end of January I should start getting back into stuff a lot more. But I'm thankful for anyone who's watched this video. If you have any other games you want to put in your top 10 or any recommendations for me to play, then go ahead and put them in the comments. Again, I know not many people watch this channel, but you never know. Some might. If it brightens someone's day to put a little comment in there, I'll read it. If it brightens someone's day that I've made this, then good. I'm happy for that. It's been a good little thing to do, to reflect on the games I've done or played this year. But anyway, from me and my pal Batman, thank you, and have a good New Year's.